There is a very interesting saying that becomes so popular in times of crisis, any type of crisis, whether it be health crisis or financial crisis, and it's never let a good crisis go to waste. And just to give you a historical background, this was popularized by the former mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, in 2008 when he advised former President Barack Obama to never let a good crisis go to waste by taking advantage of the crisis in order to make the government so big, in order to pursue whatever socialist or liberal or democrat agenda that they were trying to pursue at that time. But this time we're gonna talk about one person. This person becomes so interesting to me over the past, I think, 2 days, when he kept bombarding Facebook with shares and probably promoted ads, etc. So this person's name is Francis Leo Marcus. Even my cousin, one of my cousins on Facebook, shared his post, and talagang bilib na bilib yung pinsan ko sa kanya. So I was just like, just giving him the benefit of the doubt, but I was just taking his outrage marketing. I call it outrage marketing with a grain of salt. So if you would like to help, go for it. You don't have to shame others, but it looks like he's attracted a good number of following, and these people are ardently, they're so committed to defend this guy whose name is Francis Lee Marcus. But my initial reaction is, does he look like he's a billionaire or millionaire? As they say, don't or never judge a book by its cover. Okay, you need to get beyond the cover before you're gonna say, well, that's a fraud or that's a pretend personality or identity. Because a lot of millionaires and billionaires, as we all know, Jack Ma is one of them, don't look like their real personality. A billionaire is supposed to be like luxurious, like President Donald Trump. But a lot of billionaires today and millionaires, especially those self-made, don't look like their status. So if your goal is to help people, go for it. I'm gonna support you, but you don't have to shame others to the point that you are attracting the attention of some people to scrutinize you. That's actually what he did. So this guy became so loud. His outrage marketing became so not just interesting but disruptive, that he attracted the attention of skeptical people. A lot of them, probably did a background check of this guy, and as we all know, we have some information about this person who claims to be Francis Lee Marcus, and he's related to the dictator family, the former President Ferdinand Marcos. And as we go along with this unscripted live vlogging, we're gonna see that this Francis Marcus is not actually who he claims to be. Just a caveat: please take this commentary with a grain of salt, because this is just a new development, a new information. We don't have the luxury or enough time to investigate. We're just throwing as much information as possible into the airwaves, into the internet, and let the people decide. This is the guy in question, Francis Leo Marcus, and he is the CEO or Chief Executive Officer of and chairman of Marcus Group of Companies. I was trying to verify, because Marcus, a group of company, means that there is a holding company. Okay, there is a corporation or holding company that represents or covers group of companies, probably more than two, All right, I did some kind of a check, a background check to verify with SEC. So SEC definitely has the information as to whether this guy is actually the CEO of the Marcus group of companies and whether his name is actually Francis Lee Marcus. So the problem with the SEC website, by the way, it's down. Probably it's down because of the lockdown. And if you try to search for registered names, it's not gonna work. Doesn't have We don't have any way to search for the this company, if it's whether it's listed, but it should be listed. Okay, any of its corporations should be listed. So it's a group of companies, so it's a group of corporations or businesses. So that's what that means. But when we try to do a Google search, okay, a group of companies, for you to reach that status, it must be known to the public. Probably it must be listed, publicly listed company, meaning to say people can buy and sell shares of your company. But that's not the case. So wealthy businessman provokes response from the rich. But instead of provoking or challenging the rich became suspicious and did some kind of a background check of this guy. So let's get to that after this. So let's just check on this. So this Tribune is one of the daily newspapers, English newspapers in the country. Did they even do a fact checking? Some kind of fact checking? I don't know. So here we go. So this is Mr. Francis Leo Marcus, looking like, a millionaire that he claims to be, probably a billionaire. I don't know, how much figure he attached to his name, but as you can see here, he's doing this Facebook Live. He challenge his co-dwellers, his neighbors in a posh subdivision of Green Meadows. We're gonna talk about that after this. So his rich and wealthy neighbors in Green Meadows became suspicious of him and probably did a background check if he's actually that rich. So he said, by just donating 1% of your wealth, that could mean a lot to help the poor, etc., etc. So the reason why I ask you to share, etc., is not for me to become famous, but definitely that's what you're trying to be. That's your main goal, Mr. Marcus, if that's actually your name. So we have what we call outrage marketing. All right, one of the best examples I could give is Tulfo. All right, so if you notice the transition of the Tulfo program, whether it be the BTAG or Tulfo in action, there was this subtle transition from investigative journalism, magazine type, to outrage online media marketing or program. It's capitalizing on outrage. So that's when they started tackling disputes between mag-asawa or relationship disputes or quarrel, household disputes about husband cheating his wife, etc. So the people like that. That's entertainment and outrage issue at the same time. So it's making money for Tulfo. The ad revenue for Facebook or probably YouTube, it's gonna be millions. It's probably more than what his mother network can afford to pay the Tulfo, especially Rafi Tulfo and Erwin Tulfo. Erwin or Rafi? I think Rafi is the one that owns the Tulfo in action. So millions of revenues from YouTube, okay, AdSense, and that's probably bigger than how much his network could pay. So it's just peanut for him. The ad revenue or the AdSense revenue that he's getting from YouTube, it's millions and millions, I tell you. All right, so going back to the case of Mr. Francis Leo Marcus, I did some kind of background check as well online. That's all that we can do. Okay, if you notice on Pinoy Exchange, okay, he's already known within the the internet community years back. So the date here is May 1st, 2016. Matagal nang kilala pala siya. So when I click the link, it's showing us this. So that Lee of no, this is actually the wiki celebs. So yeah, before we get here, if you notice, a lot of information have just been uploaded to the internet about him just recently. So this one was just uploaded a few days ago. So if you notice, the time that Mr. Francis Leo Marcus started bombarding us with his kayabangan daw, mayabang daw, or his challenge, that's the time that some information about him were uploaded online to probably justify his existence. So one of which is this one that wiki celebs. Anyone can do this online. Basically, anyone can do this. Francis Leo Marcus, WikiH, Live, etc. So he owns businesses, etc. And this is some kind of to justify his wealth, all right? To present him to the people as actually a rich guy. But if you notice the pattern, all of these new information were just uploaded recently, just a few days ago, all right? Recently. So that's a red flag. All right, so here we go. So manluloko sa Mindanao, Peking Marcos. And that's what's gonna show up when we search the name Norman Mangusin, because according to people who did their due diligence, who did their investigation, the real name of Mr. Francis Leo Marcus is not actually the one that he's claiming to be, but it's actually Norman Mangusin, okay? And he claims to be a graduate, or he went to Massachusetts Institute of Technology, a very, very reputable university or school in the world, okay? That's where Noam Chomsky is teaching in linguistics. All right, and a lot of scientists are product of this MIT. So if we try to search Pinoy Exchange, so he's been actually making some noise few years back. So in 2016, someone was raising this red flag or this issue that he's a certified manggagancho, nagpapanggap na Marcos, anak daw siya ni Ferdinand Marcos kay Remedios Antonio. Pero ang tunay na pangalan niya ay Norman Mangusin, booking na ang panluloko niya. So he's a fraudster. So fraudster will do anything. So one of the ways for fraudsters to promote themselves or to make themselves legit is to search for a crisis to exploit. And this is the case of the Krasistin brothers in the United States. Alright, so they're basically, Mr. Mangusin is basically using the same technique used by these Krasistin brothers. So these Krasistin brothers were known to be fraudsters, okay? They were fraudsters. For years, they put up some business, and that business it turned out to be a fraudulent business. But then, during the time of President Trump, just to give you, a little background, when Trump was elected, they became well known. They became popular because they were like following the tweets of President Trump. So whenever President Trump is going to tweet, they're gonna be the first responders within split seconds. So what I mean is, pag nag-tweet si Trump, Trump has like 70 plus million or 60 to 70 plus million followers on Twitter. So pag nag-tweet si Trump, they're gonna, these brothers, that you're saying now on my screen, are going to respond in just split second. They were able to maintain that, and their responses are like outrageous, like TDS, pure TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, full of hate. They were like mocking the president, and because of that, a lot of Democrats and liberals who hate Trump followed them until these two guys were exposed. So a lot of people love these two guys. All right, why? Because they were like working against the Trump administration. They were like opposing a lot of anti-Trump tweets, but then they were exposed to be fraudsters, and they were able to make a lot of money out of this as well. But then when they were banned by Twitter, that's when their fame or notoriety exploded, went away, and they are now nothing. That's outrage marketing 101, and I'm not saying that this is exactly what Francis Leo Marcos is doing, but he's been doing this for years. So let's get to the receipts, shall we? Right, so this is him. I kept seeing his post online, so over even today. So if you're gonna check Facebook today, there are a lot of people sharing his live video on Facebook that, hey, I'm helping the people, I have a truckload of sacks of rice, etc., etc. I'm gonna give this to the Filipino poor. Good for you, good for you. If you're doing that, if you're using your own money to do it without expecting anything in return, then good for you. All right, if you're challenging the rich, then so be it. If they were challenged, good enough. But looks like he's got some agenda behind all this. And today, in this internet age, popularity, online popularity equals to money. All right, equals to money. If you're able to establish popularity online because of probably whatever you do, whether it be artistic, whether it be because of your talent, whether it be because you're like Tulfo who's helping other people, or whether it be because you're helping people by mocking the rich, good for you if you're able to achieve that goal. But one thing is something that we don't condone. It's fraud, defrauding other people or taking advantage of this crisis to promote yourself. So we have what we call humble bragging, but this is way beyond humble bragging. This is outrage bragging. This is mocking and bragging at the same time. So it's like you're mocking other people, but you're actually promoting yourself, because internet fame is equals to millions of pesos or even dollars in some cases. In this case, this guy is defrauding the people. Why? So because, like I said, he caught the ire of, or he annoyed the rich, his neighbors in Green Meadows. So there is this post from this woman or this person. It's probably gay, but I don't care. So he posted this: the facts about Mr. Francis Antonio Marcos. Francis Antonio Marcos is fake according to this post. So about Francis Antonio Marcos, facts. Francis Antonio Marcos' real name is Norman Mangusin, and he's not an owner of any property inside Green Meadows. He is renting only as a co-tenant in the 3 houses they are renting. He has just been renting for about a month. His co-tenant is the principal tenant and not him. So his co-tenant is the one listed, okay, as the resident of that place. He has just been renting for about a month. So looks like everything is planned for Mr. Mangusin, huh? His co-tenant is a principal tenant and not him. They are renting a house along Swallow Drive where he is staying. A house is in Nightingale Street and another house along Flicker Street. One of these houses or three houses is still under construction. He is simply front of one child. So Chinese are involved again. For some reason, Chinese are involved again. Chinese guy who is also renting a house inside the village, who is being given a difficult and hard time by the homeowners due to his illegal activities and businesses. So, is he a puppet, just like a known politician in the Philippines? Is he a Chinese puppet? I don't know. All of these are going to be divulged or exposed in the future. But when all of this became viral today, that's when the shares of about the online Facebook shares about this guy stopped. Okay, and so the Chinese businessman is a big boss of Francis Lee Marcos, whose real name is Norman Mangusin. The Chinese big boss of Norman Mangusin earned the ire of the Homeowners Association, and so he let loose of this Francis Marcos to do damage to the Green Meadows homeowners. This without knowing that the homeowners have two chat groups whereby they have already collected and distributed individually and collectively to the frontliners and different charitable institutions and directly to the poor and depressed areas even before the lockdown. Such initiatives are still ongoing until this time. So basically, the rich people in Green Meadows have already done their part quietly without any outrage marketing, unlike what this guy is doing, that he's doing outrage marketing for self-promotion. Regardless of whatever your claim is, that this is not for fame, etc., but that's actually the only goal. Okay, that's the only goal. And Francis Lee Marcos was arrested year 2016 on charges of estafa. It's hard to trust someone who's convicted or charged with fraud or estafa. The charge of estafa emanated from different complaints filed against him in Mindanao, where he used the name Francis Leo Antonio Marcos. So that's when I mentioned the other post earlier, that there was a post in 2016 exposing him to be a fraudster. In a letter addressed to NBI Director Dante Giran, dated July 8, 2019, the office of Imelda Romualdez Marcos requested the NBI to investigate a certain Francis Leo Marcos, who, according to the letter of Imelda, has claimed that he is the son of Dr. Pacifico Marcos, the brother of my late husband, and that he's been chosen by the Marcos family as a custodian of alleged wealth which are not in possession of. He uses my photographs on social media after photo opportunities and has produced film positioning him as a signatory to the world's wealth. He targets wealthy Chinese businessmen who want to do business in the Philippines and attracts them through charitable causes. So, why is this happening? Well, the reason why is we have this 60-40 ownership arrangement. So, this is in the Constitution. So, if a foreign national is going to invest in the Philippines, they need to have a partner who's going to own 60%. So, a dummy, so to speak. So, it's either they're going to look for a reputable businessman or company. In the case of Starbucks, they have Rustans, because Starbucks cannot own companies or their own business 100% equity of their business in the Philippines. So they need to find a partner though. So what they do is they find a partner, either a legit partner or a dummy. Okay, In this case, so we have the news or rumors about Mr. MVP Manuel V. Pangilinan being a dummy of an Indonesian billionaire, the Salim family. But that's gonna be another story. So, but that's a reality in our country. That's a fact. Okay, that's a sad reality in our country. So his Chinese big boss name is Bernard Chong. If you have watched one of these, okay, so here are the receipts. Okay, so let's check on the receipts, shall we? So certificate of candidacy for senator. So he's basically doing all this to promote himself for possible future, goals or purposes. He has this fake gold bars. If you notice, someone who's been charged of estafa, masyado silang mabunganga, masyadong matamis yung kanilang pananalita. Yeah. And that's what I noticed about this guy when I saw his Facebook lives. Okay, so Francis Antonio Marcos, his ID, he's trying to validate the fact that he's actually a Marcos. Right, so let's get back to the post of this this Anthony Comedia. So, like I said, I'm just getting all this from sources online who are exposing this guy, and I noticed that he also posted a letter from the Green Meadows. So this is attracting a lot of comments from social media netizens, and there's also a letter from the Green Meadows homeowners. So this is from the homeowners of Green Meadows. Viral video of GM tenant Francis Leo Marcos. It's unfortunate that amidst the difficult time of COVID-19 pandemic, our community is faced by an ongoing viral videos from a new tenant living in our community. Most of us woke up this morning and disturbed by this guy's irresponsible accusations towards our homeowners and community. Please be assured that our lawyers is already working on it to address this fellow. The board assures our community of an immediate action that is well thought in. It should be well thought out. They need to have a copy reader. So well thought out in order to ensure the right action needed. So basically, they're planning to file charges against Mr. Mangusin. In the meantime, let's focus on the more important matters, etc. So our security and PNP are on alert, including our barangay. Please report to our security, especially those who live near him, if you see anything suspicious. So this guy is, according to some reports, some people showing receipts, he's a fraudster. So there is also this news. I'm not sure if this is an accurate news, but when I check here, the Romualdez family is denying any relationship with Mr. Mangusin. So for example, this post, kayo mga fraud dyan, Jolo M. Romualdez, kayo mga fraud dyan, before using a name or surname na hindi naman yun ang real name or apelyido mo, better think twice. So also this Jude Matt Romualdez as well, member of the Romualdez family, Imelda Marcos family, okay, posted this. Okay, to all my friends asking me about Mr. Francis Leo Marcos, he's not related to me, neither related to me nor to my family po. Thank you. So a lot of comments. Just some kind of a takeaway here. What the hell is this all about? So this is outrage marketing. All I'm saying is that he's guilty of using outrage marketing for self-promotion. Do not believe him if he's saying no, this is not for fame. Only a fool would believe this guy. But in this age of or time of crisis, the best thing that we can do is either to shut up, help people silently. If you would like to shame other people for not helping do so as long as you're not defrauding other people, you're not defrauding the public, you're not taking advantage of their weakness, because this is the time in which people are at their lowest. Okay, this is the time that people are clamoring for the ones who can help them, whatever that person is, whether that be a criminal or a fraudster. I'm still willing to embrace that person. So that's the reason why this guy is taking all this opportunity to be the savior of the Filipino poor. And the Filipino poor are desperate. You know, we've seen the case of arrest of residents in Quezon City. Okay, Quezon City today, there were 20 people were arrested because of they stage a protest or rally, and people on social media are either sympathetic or outraged by the action of these residents in, I think, Sitio San Roque in Barangay Pag-asa, Quezon City. And this is the best time for the government to step in. What the hell is Joy Belmonte, Mayor Joy Belmonte of Quezon City is doing? She has 275 billion peso at her disposal. This is the right time to spend the money for the people in order to help them, in order to prevent possible hunger in the future and to save the economy. This is the best time for our government to step in. So if you would like to help. For those people like me who don't have enough resources, the best thing that we can do is to stay at home, right? If you don't have anything to contribute, the best contribution that you have is to stay home, and whenever you go out, please wear your mask, because according to research, according to experts, the way viruses can be spread out is when you don't wear the mask. Because if you're not wearing the mask, if you're gonna cough or sneeze, for example, the viral particles may get distributed. It's gonna land up to I think 10 feet. Okay, 10 feet. That's the reason why we have this 1 meter or even 2 meter social distancing, because of the capability of the virus to travel from your mouth or nose to up to even 10 feet. That's how contagious the virus is. So this online rant is getting too long, so I'm gonna end this up. Always be safe. If you like this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And this is again Uncensored Vlogging, and have a good one to all of you.